Hello, welcome back. Apologies for the poor light. It's an odd day today. I think lots of people are experiencing it. I think Storm Ophelia or Project Ophelia or whatever's going on the west side of the country is making our weather slightly unusual. So I will try and be as bright and bold and as light and airy as possible so that it doesn't distract from the video too much. We discussed visioning last time, and I briefly touched on how that linked into my day-to-day, but I thought I should make this video about connecting those dots a little. Obviously, this is how I do it. I'm going to share that with you. Doesn't have to be how you do it. Maybe it'll inspire you, or maybe you've got another way of doing it, or who knows. It's a share and see what you think. I've tried lots of... well, let's get straight to the business. This is my dream catcher, and it's basically got lots of pictures of things I like, foxes, jays, boats, trees, flowers, lots of naturey kind of things, more naturey things. One of my favourite poems by Robert Frost, and then on the inside we've got quotes and actors performing on the globe, which is quite important to me, and sitcoms. I've always loved sitcoms and comedies. That's Robin Williams, and a famous quote that I love, which is kind of the quote. It's very similar. It's more or less the same as the quote that I use for these videos. It's from the film, and it's but only in their dreams can men be truly free. It was ever thus, and always thus will be. And I just adapted it slightly to make it less men focused, and yeah, but it's essentially the same thing. If you've not seen the film, it's from Dead Poets Society. It was the film that really, sorry, switch that off. It was the film that really connected with me and how I felt at the time in terms of acting and my love of acting, and feeling as if I couldn't go and do that, which looking back was silly, but it's nonetheless how I felt. So in that folder, when I'm kind of doing that visioning, I'll take it from the vision to strapline of where I want to be, and then I'll have sections. Well, I have got sections in there. So I've got one for acting. It's a bit difficult for me, so it's a bit unwieldy for me to get up and show you, but I can read it out as I go through. So I've got one for acting. In fact, I can show you the one for acting because I can take it out. So it's just a picture that I've always made lots of compass drawings since I was a kid and coloured them. I don't know why, I just do. With a mission statement and values that matter most to me: respect, equity, love, empathy, honesty, freedom, integrity. So I'll have that, and then I've got that for the various different areas of my life. So I may have like ones for specific projects, like I've got one for root canal. I've also got one, in fact you don't need to know the details of each and every one, but like for the various different aspects of my life, I've got like a section with a mission, a strap line, and then a breakdown of how I'm going to get there. So for some, like the acting, you can't necessarily plot it exactly like a standard career path. But what you can is essentially state the major steps. It could be in a fringe theatre production, be in a touring theatre production, be in a West End production, however it breaks down to you. In fact, I can probably just show you the one that I've got. It's not very neat. I don't know if you can see that, but So it's essentially got 4 columns, one theatre, TV, film, presenting, and then it's got different stages of, I don't know if you can see that, different stages of career path in each of those fields, and then arrows that I feel will connect one to the other. Now, in doing that, there's part of the brain that kind of says, you don't know this, like, you could end up jumping like 3 or 4 levels up the ladder. Doesn't matter. Well, that's great. If that happens, then ace. You're leaping up the ladder far quicker than you thought you did. The important thing is to link the overall vision, the overall aim, to your day-to-day tasks. And I find the only way I can effectively do that is to imagine the process that I'm going to go through. Because then I have imaginatively created the route I'm going to take. Whether I end up mapping that exact same route makes no odds. What is important is convincing via my subconscious, convincing myself that it is possible, that it is a ladder. Because quite often we can have a dream, but unless we can actually see the path, whether imaginatively created or not, and you're going to have to use your imagination if it's out beyond your current level of awareness or current reality, you have to be able to convince yourself that that act that you're taking today is going to get you closer to where you need to be. That's my experience anyway. So I'll have that for the various different areas of my life in there. New things will come along, and also it adapts a fair amount. I think that's to be expected. As you take a journey, you will, along the way, find that you want to take a different route, or that something arrives and you're like, oh wow, maybe this is for me. And then from that, I'll just do the acting one because it's a good example. So from the breaking down of the high level, the career path, the career ladder, as it were, I then break down it into the goals of like what I can do in a month, what I can do in 3 months, what I can do in 6 months, what I can do in a year, and then the 3 month, everything that's under 3 months. I put on, which is the bit that I showed you, I think, last time very briefly, which was the 3-month goals on my weekly, we'll call it compass. Franklin Covey referred to it as a compass. I tend to call it my crib sheet, but it's basically something that can be rubbed out because it's laminated, and it's got my 3-month goals on, and then on the reverse it has my week's goals. So some of them will be added out of the 5-month goals. Others will be ongoing maintenance tasks. Like so, I've got on the left-hand side here a load of stuff that is always on there, which is drinking 2 to 2.5 litres of water a day, meditating every day, doing my morning pages every day, doing my grateful page every day, my 3 PT sessions and 2 times running sessions, and to contact via phone or visit or a gift some key family in my life. And then this is all sort of editable under the headings of, you probably can't see any of this, the key roles in my life. For example, actor, or brother. It's got very dark and windy all of a sudden. I'm hoping Ophelia hasn't hit mid-video. It's looking a bit that way. Where am I? Right, so then every Sunday I will rub out and then replan the following week on that weekly sheet, and then once that's done, off that weekly sheet I will plan my week, and I have a diary that has a page per day, and on each day I will have, let's use an example that's a bit more that's a good example. So I have on the left-hand side a list of appointments, and then in the middle, I'm tending at the moment, it's kind of clear space for any sort of scribbly notes I want to write, but I've been tending to use it for writing down what I'm eating and drinking, because my personal trainer's interested in that information. Well, I'm interested in it too, to know what I'm consuming. And then a things to do list, which I think lots of people use, and I give those priorities in this little column here. I use a sort of, well, it's an ABC theory. A being stuff that's urgent and important and must get done today. B being stuff that's important but doesn't need to get done today. And C being stuff that, this is going to sound weird, but is urgent but isn't very important. So like, it's usually stuff that involves, and let me define important as important being to my aims and goal and mission. I find there's a lot of stuff that comes into my world that somebody thinks is very important and it feels very urgent, and yet isn't, according to it isn't getting me any closer to my dreams. So I call it the ABC system, but actually it turns out more of an A and B system, because the C stuff, after a while, you just say no to and stop doing. Yeah, and then so what happens is that the weekly crib just kind of moves as the days move through. So I've got that as a remembery thing, to remind me of why I'm doing the things I'm doing and to keep me on point. And that's it. Like, I've tried lots of electronic versions of this. I've invested in the Franklin Covey diaries. This is very similar to the Franklin Covey model. I've adapted it slightly according to my requirements, but essentially it's the same thing. And that's that. So that's how I link vision to day-to-day activity. Now, in that process come a number of challenges, obstacles, one of which I will bring to you in the next video. I don't know if you can tell, but the storm's picking up here, so I'm going to end this here and batten down the hatches, literally, and I will see you soon. Remember, only through our dreams can we be truly free. It was ever thus, and ever thus will be.